If the latest round of doomsday headlines about nuclear Armageddon has you daydreaming about house hunting off-planet, I've got some good news and some bad news for you. Our solar system has plenty of planets to choose from. That part's awesome. The catch? Livability. And on that front, things get pretty grim pretty fast. So today, we're touring all 8 planets in the solar system. And at every stop, I'll give you the honest truth. Would you survive there for even one day or not? But since we're about to fly past every planet in a row, let's take a second and nail down what the solar system actually is. It's one massive star, called the Sun, plus everything it keeps in check with its own gravity. That means 8 planets, their moons, asteroids, comets, and a cloud of dust nobody's ever really bothered to count. The Sun alone hogs more than 98% of the total mass in this whole crew, so the planets are basically the entourage, not the headliner. Let's kick things off with Mercury, the planet closest to the Sun. You'd figure the closer you sit to the stove, the warmer you get, but that's not how planets work. Mercury has no atmosphere to trap heat, the way a blanket keeps you warm at night. So during the day, you could fry an egg right on the rock at 430 degrees Celsius. 12 hours later, that same spot drops to minus 180. No outfit on Earth can handle a swing like that. You'd need a suit with a cooling system and a heating system running at the same time. A year there zips by in just 88 Earth days. But one full spin on its axis takes almost 2 Earth months, so sunrise is a genuinely long wait. The surface is covered in craters, like the planet spent centuries as somebody's punching bag. Bottom line, you'll survive exactly as long as your gear holds up, and then the planet decides whether to fry you or freeze you. Next stop, Venus. And I'm about to burst the bubble for anyone who likes romantic planet names. The planet of love turns out to be the most ruthless place in the entire system. Carbon dioxide wraps the surface so tight that the temperature sits at a steady 465 degrees, and the clouds are made of sulfuric acid. Throw in atmospheric pressure that would crush any car on Earth like a soda can, and you've got a planet you can't visit even in theory, unless you count a probe that survives a couple of hours before it melts. Venus also spins backward compared to most planets, and a single day there lasts longer than its own year, which honestly makes my filament flicker just thinking about it. My verdict on Venus is short and sweet. Your odds of survival are a flat 0, and it's the only planet on this list where I wouldn't recommend even trying. Next up is Earth. And I won't dwell on it too long, because the whole point of this trip is to show you just how one-of-a-kind it is. While we've been cataloging every way another planet can burn you, freeze you, or crush you flat, it's worth pointing out that Earth's atmosphere is dialed in just right, shielding us from solar radiation and meteorites, while water covers most of the surface and creates a balance nowhere else in the system can match. This might be the most boring planet on our tour, precisely because nothing here is falling apart. And if you ask me, that's the best kind of boring there is. On to Mars, the one planet where humanity is actually drawing up real moving plans. That red color is just plain old rust, the same chemical reaction that eats through an old nail in your shed, just scaled up to an entire planet. The average temperature hovers around minus 60 degrees, which isn't exactly a treat. But near the equator, during the warm season, the thermometer can crawl up to plus 20, warm enough for a person in the right gear to survive out there without dropping dead on the spot. Gravity is nearly 3 times weaker than Earth's, so bouncing around on Mars feels like slow motion. But breathing is completely off the table. The atmosphere's too thin and has no oxygen to speak of. Water used to flow here, and you can still see traces of ancient floods, so some scientists are seriously talking about colonizing it someday. Though, personally, building a house on a planet where you have to manufacture your own air sounds like a pretty shaky investment. So Mars is the first planet on our list where survival doesn't take a miracle, just a very expensive dome city and a solid life support system.
Next, we head for the gas giants, and along the way, we cut through the asteroid belt. Don't expect any Star Wars-style slalom between boulders, though. The distances inside the belt are so massive that if you were standing on one asteroid, you'd barely spot the next one on the horizon.
Jupiter is the biggest planet in the system, and the first thing you need to know about living there is that you simply can't, because there's no solid ground to speak of. Beneath the clouds lies an ocean of liquid metallic hydrogen, and near the core, temperatures hit 24,000 degrees, hotter than the surface of the sun. If you tried to fall in, you wouldn't splat on some bottom, because there is no bottom. The pressure would just slowly and methodically crush you as you sank deeper. The famous Great Red Spot is a storm bigger than the entire Earth that's been raging for centuries, with winds topping 400 kilometers an hour. Basically, Jupiter is a failed star that just missed having enough mass to actually ignite. And living on a failed star is exactly as awkward as it sounds. Saturn is a little kinder to your imagination, though not to your body. This planet has such low density that if you found a bathtub big enough, Saturn would float in it instead of sinking. The rings aren't one solid disk, they're trillions of chunks of ice and rock, each on its own orbit. And as far as views go, this is honestly the best one in the whole system. The catch is the upper atmosphere sits at minus 170 degrees, and there's still no solid ground to land on, so you can only enjoy the scenery from a ship that's never actually going to touch down. Uranus is interesting, less for the cold, though it does sit around minus 213 degrees, and more for how the whole planet spins. Every other planet turns like a top, but Uranus rolls along its orbit on its side, like a bowling ball. Because of that, one pole can sit in continuous daylight for 42 Earth years straight, then spend just as long in total darkness. Day and night don't cycle every 24 hours there. They cycle every few decades. And yeah, there's nothing to land on here either. Uranus gets called an ice giant, but the ice part is just a nice way of putting it. Underneath the clouds is a scorching, dense slush of water, methane, and ammonia that you can only sink into slowly. Closing out our list is Neptune, the farthest planet from the sun. And somehow it manages to be both the coldest and the wildest. The temperature at the top of the clouds drops to minus 218 degrees, while the winds out there reach almost 1,200 miles an hour, faster than the speed of sound. So apparently, the farther a planet sits from the power source, the harder it storms, like nature decided to make up for the lack of heat with extra attitude. Neptune has no surface either. It's basically Uranus's older sibling. The same scorching, icy slush hides under the clouds. So once again, the only landing option on offer is a slow one-way sink. So circling back to where we started, the good news is there really are 8 planets out there. The bad news is not one of them will take you in for even a weekend without some seriously heavy engineering. Mercury will torch you first and freeze you after. Venus will crush you and dissolve you. Mars will let you survive if you're willing to pay through the nose, and all 4 giants won't even give you a floor to stand on. So no matter how scary the headlines get, there's exactly one planet in this whole system with livable weather, breathable air, and at least one working outlet, and we're already standing on it. I'm just a light bulb, and all I really need is a single outlet to live a decent life. But even I'd say I got the better deal here.